Okay, I also want to take a couple of minutes to give our freeholder candidates an opportunity to speak. We really are proud of the candidates we're fielding this year. We've been proud of the past. We've had great candidates in the past. We think we've learned from our mistakes because we still have that pesky 1% gap that we haven't closed. So we searched again far and wide and found the people who came the closest when they ran last time. And they also happen to have real talent. We have Councilman Tony Pranzatelli, who's a council member in Boundbrook, who understands small business. He runs a small business. He's been leading the small business rejuvenation in the borough of Boundbrook. He's been on council there for a long time, and when he took over, I think that the state of New Jersey was actually running the town, and they've gotten them off the public dole. He understands how to spend money for the benefit of your constituents, and not just spending it because it's there. You know, we have a freeholder board now that they probably spend most of their money on that project you all passed right down the street, you know, like the projects, the inner city projects called Natterar. Anybody ever see that? It's Raritan spelled backwards. And what it is a huge estate that's making the guy who owns Virgin Airlines richer than he already is. That's what our freeholder board is doing with your tax dollars. So we found Tony Pranzatelli, and guess what? We have an MBA over here, Joan Pritchard. Joan has an MBA from Baruch College, and she specializes in filling those budget holes. She will be able to figure out ways to streamline county government, to make the job easier, faster, more efficient, and to take the money that they have, and they get a whole bunch of money from us, to take that money and spend it where it's needed. They are not going to let people like Governor Chris Christie take away the Women's Resource Center. They are not going to let us stop funding Planned Parenthood. They are not going to let us take money out of the mouths of our children. They're not going to let us take money out of public education. They are going to do what good Democrats should have been doing for the last 4 decades in Somerset County, but we haven't had the opportunity. So it's now my honor to introduce to you the 2 candidates who your dollars are going to help win. Tony Pranzatelli.
It's pretty scary to have to speak after the senator. It's only going to be a letdown. But anyway, before I start, I'd like to thank Mike and Mindy for let's give them a big hand, because this is just a wonderful event. It's a beautiful house, and it's good to know that we have a friend in Gladstone. I don't know how many more we have. But we do have one. 2 years ago, I asked Peg Schaefer if I could run for freeholder, and she said, well, you have to go through the screening process. And I know, Peg, I appreciate you playing me up, but I think she was hoping that everybody in this room would go ahead of me, but it didn't happen. So I got to run. And I think my running mate, Joan, I think she held the gun to your head. You got to run for clerk. So anyway, it was great because I got to meet Joan Pritchard, and we hit it off really, really well. And we decided, well, we're going to give a go at this. And we started walking and talking to the Somerset County residents. We're surprised most of the residents didn't even know what a freeholder was. They didn't realize that the budget for the Somerset County freeholders is enough to run a third world country. And again, we didn't have much money, but we walked and we stopped by thousands and thousands of doors. I think something like 20,000 residents we hit by the end of the election cycle. We didn't have money for flyers. We barely had money. I think we had crayons and paper for our literature. But election day when we sat down, well, put it this way, it took about a month for them to decide who won the election. It was that close. I believe it was less than 1% for both of us. I think it was like 0.25% for me. It's been close to 40 years before there's been a Democrat on that board. It's been, I think, since the Johnson administration, since the Democrats controlled that board, and that was only because they ran Barry Goldwater and we just all got in. But it's just not right. It's not right that it should be run like a monarchy. You know, it's like it's my turn to be freeholder, so they just put another Republican on the ballot and they just automatically win. The way it should be done is like Joan and I do it. We talk to people. We ask for their concerns. We ask for their vote. We don't assume their vote. And the more and more Joan and I do that, in fact, I think, Joan, we hit 4,000 houses already. 5,000 houses. He keeps track. And we have a real campaign manager this year, Darrell, and it's something that we've never had the luxury of doing that, having that luxury before. And this year we have support. I mean, we have somebody now in Gladstone that holds a party for us and holds a fundraiser for us. So with the extra help, with Cory Booker on the top of the ticket, I say to the residents of Somerset County, 2 years ago we scared the hell out of them. This year we're going to defeat them. Thank you. This is the lovely Joan Pritchard.
I also would like to thank Mindy and Mike. This is really a wonderful, wonderful gathering. And for all of you here, we know you're supporters because you're here. So what we need you to do is to get out and ask the folks that you know to come out and vote. That's always the problem with Democrats in an off-year election. If it's not for president, they don't really feel it's important. So we need you to talk to your friends and your family and convince them to come out and vote. What we would like to do is we'd like to make sure that Raritan Valley Community College becomes the premier county college in the state. We're also looking to improve public transportation because there is such a lack of it, or such a minimum amount of it, but not at additional cost to us, because as taxpayers we don't want more taxes. We're looking to work with the state and with the feds for that. And when it comes to women's issues, we're also wanting to make sure that any funding that's been taken away from Planned Parenthood is again given back to it, and finding a way to do it without, again, increasing taxes, because our goal is not to increase taxes. It is about working with industry to bring additional jobs into the county, but also providing the best services, because we want this to be the best place to live, and it can happen, but we need you to get there to help us do it. So thank you.